Welcome back Behind the Sign. This is a fun one. I have Alisia Krastel with eXp Real Estate in Baltimore, Maryland. Been in the business 15 years. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely. I was excited to get you on. I go through the people that I know, and this is a fairly new show, and I go through people that I know, and I'm like, who has made an impact on me? And who is someone that I looked at, and I'm like, wow, they do it right. And you were one of them. So thank you for coming on and taking my message.
Thanks. I appreciate it. It's been a road. It's been a journey.
Yeah. So you've been in the business 15 years. I've been in it 16, so we're right on pace. We're the same age, so it's kind of nice to be with someone who's like right with you. They've been through the ups and the downs. They know exactly how it goes. Um, so yeah.
It's probably how
Tell
we
me about
relate a
you.
little bit.
Yep, you got into the real estate business in 2005 ish. 2000. Well, is that right?
Seven.
2007.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I've been in the business 18 years.
You were dipping yourself there.
Well, yeah, because 21 and 22 were a blur.
Well, this is true.
Like those 2 years, just it's like the world just stopped and then started again, and you don't even remember what happened. Such a blur.
It's a blink of an eye.
But anyway,
For
so you
sure.
got in the business in 2007. Wow,
Yeah.
you got like a year and then just smoked, huh?
Yeah. I actually bought my first house in 2007. It was my first transaction. It was a short sale,
Yep.
waived inspections, like all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, I've been through the ups and downs and doing okay.
So when you got in right away and the market went down, like basically as you were getting in, and obviously we didn't know we were going to talk about this, but when you got in and the market crashed, did you survive in real estate, or did you have to do other things to help you survive through real estate? What was your method to the madness to still be in this business?
It's a good question. I was actually a full-time, I worked for a newspaper full-time at the time. So I was transitioning over to real estate. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know the great market, right? I didn't know 2020, 2021 when it was 6.5. I didn't know that. So all I had
Yep.
was the downturn of the market. So I just hustled my nose off and made it through.
So
I
you,
actually ended
so
up
you had
quitting my job. Good.
you left your secure job for an insecure job in a shitty market.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you know what? That's what builds a business, you know. And they always say that like when you hit a recession, when you hit bad times, those people who survive that are the real the real ones, right? They're the ones who are going to actually make it and actually survive. But you said that 2005 and 6. I got into the business in 2004, and it is the people who compare 2008 to today have absolutely no clue.
They don't.
Like if they say they're similar, they have zero clue. In 2004, the one thing that I did a lot of was I got into business and I made for sale by owner calls. And making those for sale by owner calls was so much different because the internet was not as big of a thing. Like there wasn't the IDX that linked all the listings to one website. So that didn't happen. It was a lot harder to find homes. So when I would go drive through a neighborhood, I would look down a street and I'd see probably 6 for sale signs, 4 of which had sold signs on them, or 3 had sold signs, or 2, but 6 on a street, right? I haven't seen more than like 2 houses on a street, unless it's a new development, with a sale sign in the yard since like 2015 or 14.
And a
So
lot of them probably
it
sold
was,
for sale by owner.
yeah. And back then in 2004, I would see a for sale by owner sign and I would call them, and I would call them right out in front of their house because I knew either they're not going to answer their phone, which gave me a great opportunity to say, well, if you want to sell your home, you need to be able to answer your phone. And if you have a job, how can you do that? Because what's going to happen is they're going to go to that house two doors up that has a real estate sign in it, and they're going to talk to them, and that agent's no longer going to bring them back to your house. And they're like, oh, and then if they were home, I'd be like, oh, cool. Hey, can I just stop in? I'm outside your house and just do a quick walkthrough so I can get an idea of what you have if I have a buyer for it. And that created that conversation. So I killed the for sale by owners in the first couple of years. Today is such a different world because when you look down that street, you don't see anything. You got to go
No.
down like 30 streets to find a for sale by owner sign. Then you find that for sale by owner sign, and it's, up on Zillow and everything else. And they're getting called from every real estate agent because now you don't have to leave the office to find them.
True story.
And their biggest thing is, we get called by so many real estate agents, leave us alone. I get it, but we're probably the people who are going to sell your house. So,
Yeah. I
but
mean, I'd be
yeah,
the same way, right? I'm the same way with cold callers who try to sell us leads and stuff. Like, no.
yeah. Oh gosh, I don't need insurance. Like I got health insurance. I'm good.
Right.
So, but that, so the drastic difference is, in fact, you could look down the street and see houses everywhere for sale, and they were still selling. And I don't think anybody realizes that that was the case back then. And today, inventory is so much different. And everybody says it's like 2008. No, it is not. Like, the inventory is drastically different.
Yeah, and even though we're saying it's correcting, it's coming back to our normal market, and some things are reducing because people are overpricing their house mainly.
Mm-hmm.
People are
Yep.
still getting over list price because there's not enough there for them to choose from. There's still demand on that specific, like, perfect
Mm-hmm.
house that they're getting over
Yep.
list price.
Yep. And in the last 2 weeks, it's become much more silent in my market. I think that these rates getting up to 7, if you have bad credit and if you have bad credit and you're zero origination, you might even hit 8% for a loan or a mortgage rate. So, like, this is causing a big slowdown. And one of the things that we have to do is, I feel, is perfect our skill and get back to the basics and do all those things and stay in front of people. And the only thing you can do in a bad market when there's no buyers out there is stay relevant.
Yes, and take up people's mind space. Agreed,
And
100%.
you're very good at that. You've got a very successful YouTube channel.
Thanks. It's growing. Yeah, it's growing.
No, I mean, honestly, like, YouTube is the hardest platform.
It is. It's the hardest platform. It's the most time consuming. But if you put the work in up front, I mean, it is amazing. YouTube is amazing. And I've been able to reach people that I mean, I'm getting 20 to 25 hours of content being watched a day. Like, there's not even 25 hours in a day. Last week I did a video
Yeah,
and I got 45 hours of content. It was watched 45 hours that day. Like, where can you get that? And I've
yeah,
had
that's
to,
amazing. So, like,
God,
no, you keep going.
I've had to have some mental checks there. You know how I'm always talking about don't compare, don't compare, don't compare. Well, I've been very hyper specific with my YouTube channel. So it's growing with a very niche audience. So I'm at about 8,500 subscribers, which is small in the grand scheme of millions of subscribers, right? But for my niche, I feel like it's amazing. And I'm getting the people, getting in conversation, I'm converting more than if I had 100,000 subscribers that didn't really care what I was talking about.
I mean, to get people to converse with you now, are you able to get local? So you also do coaching, right? Like, I saw that you do YouTube coaching, and I was like, yo, I need to talk to you. And I think I messaged you, and then all of a sudden I was super busy, so it just kind of went on the back burner. But, like, if you do coaching, do you find more people, because a lot of your content is based towards people like myself, real estate agents, how we can grow our business? Is that your target for the YouTube, or is your target buyers and sellers for real estate?
That is my target for the YouTube, is to help agents, mainly small teams and solo agents, to have an amazing life and be able to take care of their clients properly without sacrificing themselves. That's what that YouTube channel is all about. But I still like the TikTok. I do the same thing on there, and I made $20,000 off of TikTok from referrals from another agent. So I mean, I'm still getting business from doing that, and I'm able to help other
That's,
agents.
as I tend to think outside of the box, but that's the one thing about YouTube I didn't think about, was the agents who follow you and respect you and who will send you business because, right? Like, that's something I didn't even think about. And I mean,
I
honestly, that's
think it could
brilliant.
work
It's
either
like,
way too. It could work to where if you did just local YouTube channel, agents will still follow you and be like, man, this is amazing, and still refer you. This is just like my passion is I was on a struggle bus. I had 3 babies, and it was hard for me. So I want to help people not have to experience that. It's just what I liked to
yeah,
do content on. But you could
that's
do it
awesome.
with a local
Yeah.
channel.
And so, okay. I don't even know what the heck you're talking about, local channel.
Oh, local channel. So I'm getting ready to start. This one's been on a niche audience to help real estate agents like kill it in the business and still have a life. The channel I'm getting ready to create is Baltimore based, like living in Maryland type thing. It's going to have a crab. We're going to do local content about my favorite crab places, about communities to live in. I think it will have the same effect. It's going to draw in more clients, real estate clients, but it's also going to attract agents because they're going to be like, what's up? We have one agent here that kind of does it okay. But I know I can
Yeah.
kill this because I love Baltimore and I have a lot to share.
Yeah. Like doing the videos, I've always been someone who, if someone else is doing something, I'm like, not doing it. I gotta be different. And then, you got Tom Ferry who says rip off and repeat. Totally get that. But locally, there's so many people that do that. I'm at this place and they have this is the, blah, 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 blah. And I just struggle looking at that because I'm like, so you got to come up with creative ways to do that to where it's not so, hi, look at me, I'm at this place. You got to really figure out a way to feature that place in order for people. So what is your strat? I guess I don't know if you want to go there yet because you haven't started your local channel, but
Yeah, we can go there.
advice to me
Strategy.
on that.
Yeah, we could go to that. Most people, like everybody wants to do YouTube, but 99% of them who've talked to me about it don't ever do it. So like, I don't care, bring it. Like if we have different voices. If somebody else in Baltimore wants to do it, the key is to figure out what humans are actually typing in and looking for. They're not looking for what we're saying, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
saying like, I want to show you how to do hooks and videos, and I want to show you how to do this. They just want to get business. Like that's it.
Yep.
So with real estate,
Yep.
one of the videos that I've had this mapped out for like 2 years, and we finally have the bandwidth to do this because as you may have noticed, like I've done YouTube, then I did TikTok, then I did LinkedIn. I
Mm-hmm.
don't do them all at once. I master and then I move on. So this one I've had in the works for a while, but the first video I want to do is a nature center that I used to go to, or I still go to with my kids a lot, and I'm going to do one of the most underrated places you can go in Baltimore that's free and you can take your kids. You didn't know that they had a pre-K program. You didn't know that they had this. These are all the things you can do here. And by the way, like
Yep.
secret things that only I would know, like someone who went there, like they have a water tank. You can go in and touch an eel. You
Oh,
don't know
wow.
that unless you've been there. So that's what I'm
Yep.
focused on is doing that and then bracketing out. So I'm going to do a couple sections, like 4 or 5 videos about underrated places in Baltimore, and they're gonna refer to each other. Then we'll do new construction communities, which I know that's something you're into. New construction
Yep.
communities, what your options are, and they'll all refer to each other. And at the end of those videos, we'll say, if you want to know more about Maryland or if you want to know some cool underrated places, check out this video about Marshy Point Nature Center.
So I see like there's so much to YouTube. I
So
mean,
much.
it's like you almost just want to hire someone to do all that stuff for you, but then on the flip side, the cost of the hiring, the getting your ideas to them is really difficult. And by the time you go through all that, taking the time to learn it and just do it yourself sometimes might be more efficient.
It's worth it. Do
It's
the
worth it to learn
SEO
it.
yourself. Yes. Do the SEO yourself because it's going to help you in every other aspect in real estate. It's going to tell you what people are actually looking for. It might take you, like, I think it took me 3 or 4 weeks of research before doing a video. I know everybody's like, oh, just throw spaghetti on the wall. And that worked for TikTok, but that's not work. That doesn't work for YouTube because there's too many.
Well, boy, I do a lot of that.
I mean, you can do it to like get going, but to like really
Yep.
attract the people that you want and get like the whole thing is you want to get ranked in YouTube. And I get ranked
Mm-hmm.
because I do the research up front and I actually make videos about what the little humans type in that they want to see. And it takes
Yep.
time. And one of the things I focus on in my real estate career is I want people to be heard and seen and I want to take care of them and then evidence of success. So this part is basically being heard and seen. I'm making sure that people who would be my prospective clients are being heard and seen and I'm not just giving them what I think they should take this. That's the
Right.
key. And it's worth it because it'll help you with
Well,
TikTok, it'll help you with YouTube, help you with Instagram, help you with like if you do workshops in real life for real estate, it'll help.
yeah, that, I
With
mean,
the editing now.
and so, yeah, I've already got a full-time videographer and editor. So I've got the editing part all good. The SEO part, I wouldn't even know where to start to try and research that. So that's something I'll have to ask you for advice on. But um,
Yeah.
I definitely know that the SEO part is very important, and I've been winging it for so long, just trying throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, and I try and pay attention to what sticks. But it is a difficult game because I think what sticks doesn't stick very long.
Yes, but once you have, it's kind of like a system. Once you have the format and system down, you can roll with the punches in here, and it's the same format applies. You just keep doing it over and over again. When you're learning it, though, remember you and I were talking about gray hair. I have gray hair. You have gray hair. All your gray hairs will be pulled out by the end of you learning it.
Yep.
But then once you learn it, it'll be good.
And it'll grow back.
It'll grow back. It'll grow back.
It'll grow back. And one of the things that I tried TubeBuddy, and that's supposed to help you with your SEO thing, and it literally did. Sorry, I don't want to disrespect TubeBuddy, but it did zero good.
Do you want the short version of what you can't do this without that? Okay.
Yep.
So if you're going to do YouTube, you need keywords everywhere. It is a Chrome extension and it goes by credits. Probably going to cost you $20 or $30 for the whole year. And when you go on Google, every time you type in something, it's going to show you how many times the humans search it on their computer. Like it's searched 800 times a month. So if you're going to make a video that's searched 0 times a month, like don't bother, right? So if you have the
Yep.
keywords everywhere, it'll tell you how many times the humans are searching it. And then TubeBuddy, the only thing I use TubeBuddy for is I go into the Keyword Explorer and see how many videos are actually made on that topic. And if it seems like 500,000, a million, I'll make it. But if it's like 25 million, I'm going to find a different variation of that keyword to do a video on. Because
Gotcha.
there's too many
I've
videos
heard
that are
that.
too saturated.
I've heard that. I've heard that even on TikTok, using a word that's too many times doesn't do you any good.
Right, because you're like, oh my gosh, 2 million people search this a month. Well, that's not good because 45 million videos are made. That's the
Yeah.
key, is to find the spot, find where your potential clients are being underserved and serve them exactly what they need, because they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're the first person. I hear that all the time. You're the first person that gave me what I wanted, that I
Yeah.
was able to get the information I really, really needed. I'm a geek.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's valuable. Like YouTube is such a in-depth thing, and I just have struggled and struggled. Like probably the hardest one for me, and I've wanted to grow it, and I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it when I grow it. One of the things, like you have to have a why for everything, right? And I really don't have a why. Obviously I want to grow my real estate business locally. I'm 45, and I'm at this point where, okay, am I going to hustle and sell houses until I essentially die? Am I going to pound the streets? Because you've got this business evolves so much, and the people who were huge when I got into the business I don't even, back in 2004. Let's go back 2004. When I got into the business, it was the certain agents that killed it. Those agents that killed it that were probably my age or maybe even a little bit younger, they're pretty irrelevant today, other than just working with the people that they know, because they can't keep up with this pace of world. And as you get older, it's harder to keep up with this pace of world. Like
Yeah.
my daughters make fun of me because I get on their platforms all the time. I'm like, well, I'm trying to keep up, right? Well, when I'm 60, it isn't going to be that easy. So I got to come up with other strategies. And so my why is to open up a door that's beyond just selling houses with YouTube. But I don't know
Yeah.
what that door is, and it hasn't come to me yet, and I'm hoping that it does. But that's the struggle for me on YouTube, is just trying to break through with something that can get eyes, where I can grow my following, but also provide value to them so that I can keep them.
Find
And
what they need.
you
And
might
you're
be,
doing these interviews, if nothing else, you're creating relationships with other people who are doing well in real estate.
and gosh, I tell you, like, I think you're the fourth agent, and then I had one creator. Well, he's a digital marketer. You know him. He's from your area, because somehow TikTok threw me into Baltimore.
Todd
Like,
Collins. Yeah.
yeah, I interviewed you, Todd, Collin, and Sheehan. I'm like, oh, she's from Baltimore too? I'm like, holy smokes, like what in the world? But I think TikTok
They
kind of
call it
somehow
Baltimore.
put me. Yeah, I mean, Baltimore's big, but we'll see. I'm also big in Texas, so like,
Interesting.
I don't know. it's like my TikTok feed is Texas and Baltimore, and then some other things. But yeah, anyway, back to it. We'll talk more about YouTube.
Yeah.
I definitely want to most likely have a further, more in-depth, maybe hiring kind of thing to teach me a little bit about this. But I want to get to the game. I always play a game, and it's called,
Okay.
it's your my generation. This helps. It's called I
Okay.
Got Five on It. I don't sing, but it's called I Got Five on It, and it's five
Okay.
questions. You rate things 1 to 5. 5 is hot, 1 is not. The first one is YouTube Live.
One, just because I don't do it.
Instagram,
One.
Pinterest.
4.5.
Ooh. TikTok Live,
5. 25.
25. All right, cheater. Uh, and then I had YouTube Shorts, but I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to put LinkedIn.
5 for sure.
5 for sure. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, that is interesting. The reason I play this, the reason I do this is because it gives us some great topics to talk about. And you threw
Yeah.
out Instagram as the one. I looked for you on Instagram, couldn't find you.
Interesting. Did you look under my
So
name or Real Mother Hustler?
I think I did both. And it's hard because we're so far apart. Like it may not
Yeah.
just pop up, but so you have Instagram
It's
as a one.
yeah.
Do you
It's
still
not my
focus on
jam.
it?
I do
Do you
not.
focus on
I'll
it though?
post. No, I don't focus on it at all. I'll post stuff sometimes. I'll share what I've done on TikTok. I did a live the other day, but it is not a focus. YouTube's my pillar. TikTok feeds into YouTube. LinkedIn feeds into TikTok and YouTube. Instagram is the only reason I really am on Instagram is because I can send voice messages to people who follow me and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So they see me on
Yeah.
TikTok, they follow me on Instagram, and then I'm able to communicate better with them.
Instagram is a tough one, man. Like Facebook, I started with this whole social thing with Facebook page, and we've got, I think, 6,800 followers on Facebook, which is huge for my area. But I feel like it's it's tailed off. I think it still has the people my age and above, but Instagram has made everybody makes a big push on Instagram, but I think Instagram is more nationally. And so one of the things that intrigued me about you is being you help people generate leads without buying Zillow leads.
Yeah.
Zillow's been something that I've used for a number of years, but they have changed the way they do things so much that it's like I I I spend 90% of my time with Zillow leads teaching them to call the agent that they're going to work with, and that's a bad use of money.
You have a lot of energy and time in there outside the money expense, like the expense. You have a lot of time nurturing, a lot of time teaching, like a lot of time they might not show up. Like there's a lot that goes into it. Um, and Instagram, like you don't have to be on all the things, although all the things work. Like you and I know they all work.
Yep.
You just have to pick what you want. And I'm not going to be on all
Hmm.
of them. I know there's people who say be on all of them. I'm just not, and it works for me. So that's what I'm going to stick with. And I think instead of Zillow or paid leads, you have inside sales associates that teams use all the time, pay for at your fingertips, but they're looking past them to go buy these leads. Your sphere, if you treat them properly, if you go in there and care about them, show them, connect with them, and then show them the evidence of success, they will set appointments for you, but not if you're not paying any attention to them or if you're like half-ass
Yeah.
paying attention to them.
Yep. So when you
You
say
have to be
inside sales
super careful.
associates,
Hmm.
those are like team members, or are you talking about your SOI?
When teams call, have someone call, hey, do you want a list? Do you want a list? Do you want a list? Cold call for you
Oh,
to try to
gotcha.
book appointments to
Yep.
go on. Your sphere will do that for you if you teach them and you treat them right.
That's what I thought. You were talking about the sphere of influence. You're talking about your A clients, the clients that know how to refer.
Yeah. And
That
I would consider myself maybe a master at that, and I still see spots where I'm like, man, there's that person I need. Why did I not connect better with that person?
Mhm.
There's such influence over people. There's just so
Yep.
much opportunity that people just walking by. It's like right under your nose, and you're not seeing it because you're too bothered writing checks to other companies and trying to like make those leads
Yep.
happen.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the things that we as a group or a team have focused on. We wanted to start our um, what do you call it? I can't even remember what we called it because I'm just blanking out. But just basically the people that really know how to refer business. So if you've referred one person to us, you're in this group, and we'll hold special events for those people. How do you get in that group? You refer us one person, or you buy multiple homes from us. So like if you came back to us 2 or 3 times, you're in our preferred group. That's preferred or whatever. You're in a club, right? Like the club. So that is one thing that we have started to work on. We've got the list of everybody that's there. We just haven't put on our first event and haven't officially labeled the club. But I agree 100%. And you know when you have somebody who knows how to refer,
Yeah.
like that client, I know how to refer. If I've got someone who does something, I'm sending people to that person every time I hear them talk about that skill or that craft. I'm like, you need to call this person.
Yeah.
And so training those people, like you said, even at these events, it might be a 5-minute session on how to refer people to me. You know,
Possibly.
possibly. We don't
Possibly.
know yet. We haven't held
Yeah. Yeah.
an event yet.
Everybody has their different style for events, right? I make my events just all about the people. We don't talk about me.
Yep.
You have a good time, but that doesn't mean that that's what's right. But it just what works for me.
Yep. And we hold our client appreciation parties. We just had at the pumpkin patch where we just come to the patch. We'll pay for your way in. It's expensive, but man, I tell you, people love that. And I love seeing the smiling faces, and I love getting this, I mean, my selfish gratification of them saying, thank you so much. We had a great time. Because that makes me feel better than anything else, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth it. It's
Yep.
better than paying Zillow.
So,
You're gonna pay for it one way or
oh
the
my
other.
gosh.
The thing is, you have control, right? If you have events, if you pour money into, helping your sphere, whatever you want to do, you're going. If you wouldn't you rather spend that money and actually have control over who you get rather than just somebody who randomly found you because they searched?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And there's agents that it blows. I was spending $3,000 a month, right? Like that's a lot of money. And I'm finding out that that's pennies compared to what some of these teams are spending on leads from Zillow. And sure, they're doing a lot of business, but holy smokes, like if you spent let's say we spent $5,000 a month on our clients, the ROI on that would be
$67,000 a
ridiculous.
year, 5,000, $60,000 a year. I'm like, give me $60,000 a year. I will create a marketing plan that with you that will get you more business than Zillow does. I guarantee
Yep.
it. I've done
Yep.
TikToks, so I'm like, look, if you have $1,000 a month, look at what we could do with $12,000 if you're purposeful and don't poop it away.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's brilliant. It's just a matter of putting it in place and sticking to it. And like you said, I've got, you said you've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
I've got 5, and one's in
Well,
college now, but like just the amount of time that you have to put forth for that makes it hard to do these events because you got to do them after hours. And that's like one of my struggles is that. But again, that's selfish, like we as real estate agents work all the time. And then when you do have a little bit of time, you want to give it to your family because they have to come first. So
I don't think it's
trying to
selfish at
get those
all.
events scheduled.
It's not selfish.
Yeah.
So I pick some events that like my family can go to. Like I do a bowling event every year. We rent out the whole bowling alley. Everybody comes. My family, the kids, they're part of all of this. The crab feast
Yep.
my kids come to. Like I did a wine event one time. It wasn't my thing. It was awful because it wasn't who
Yeah.
I am. But
Right.
you can do it. That's where like the whole layering thing, like you can layer things into your business where you're not multitasking, but things have multiple purposes and they're pulling the chain of multiple things in your life. Like, I don't know, maybe ask your kids what's one thing they really want to do. Maybe they want to go hot air balloon riding, and like one of your events is now a tethered hot air balloon that you guys can go up in and you have all your clients go to. It doesn't always have to be separate.
Right. That
There's
makes a
not
lot of
enough time
sense.
for it all to be separate.
Well, hey, it's a 90% chance that if your kids want to go do something, your clients' kids want to do it too.
True. It's
So
true.
that makes perfect sense. Hey, I
Yeah.
love common sense. That's common sense, and Yeah. So guess what I'm going to start to implement?
A
It's
bounce around your
time,
kids.
right? It's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
All
And
right.
it's
So I
lead
just heard you
generation
say the
and
word,
it's family time. Go ahead.
I just heard you say the word layering.
Yeah.
When I hear layering, I hear you saying you send stuff from YouTube to TikTok, or they go from TikTok to YouTube to LinkedIn. Like, explain that just with a little bit of detail for me so I can understand that.
Well, that's a content process, right? So YouTube and TikTok are my pillar contents, right? YouTube's pillar, TikTok supports, LinkedIn supports. So I do a newsletter on LinkedIn that also highlights the videos that I make on YouTube or potentially some TikToks that I've done. So they're all, never am I doing anything that has one purpose, right? And even down to the
Gotcha.
content that I create, I'm never creating content. I'm not like, ooh, what do people need to know? I'm like, what does my sphere need to know? Let me think back to this A who I helped, and I make content for them because I see your sphere is like a pinwheel. The center is your A's, your MVPs. If you blow on
Yep.
the pinwheel, that thing catches momentum. Why would I not make content for the most important people in my life? And it'll naturally help other people. So that's where it
Right.
starts for me, the whole layering, and then client events, and then your content. And I've been using repurpose.io for making that a little bit easier. It's just putting it on.
Yep.
Like I have TikTok going to YouTube Shorts now because I wasn't doing YouTube Shorts. I'm like, I'm not going to add one more thing, but I can do this simply so it makes sense.
So
Did I?
repurpose IO, that's something I've heard Todd Collins talking about a lot, and I haven't looked into it yet. I get nervous because, you know, back in the day, like Hootsuite and those types of things, they'd post on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but all those platforms are different. And so, like, I don't want the exact same thing going on Instagram that's going on Facebook because they're just different. So when you post on Repurpose IO, YouTube Shorts can only have so many 100 characters. TikTok, they say like 3 or 4 hashtags is more than enough there. Instagram, they say 30.
Yeah.
What's up? How does that work?
So mine's on manual. I don't have it to auto publish. And some TikToks I would never want on YouTube. It is a different culture,
Totally.
right? We talk different
Yep.
on there.
Yep.
Just the ones where I think support, like me coaching lead generation and how moms can balance life, like those things I'm putting on there. And I'm going into the manual part. I'm redoing the hashtags because it's different. I'm redoing the keywords because it's different. And I'm titling it different because it needs a hook in the beginning. Where on TikTok, your hook is your video and then the description is
Right.
your description afterward.
Right.
So I'm doing everything manual. It's not I mean, Todd Collins would say, screw it, just post it all everywhere. Maybe that's right, but that's just not what I do. I
Yeah.
want to, I
Yeah.
want to be purposeful with what I do.
I'm kind of a combination between Todd Collins and that. Like, I I do post it all, but unfortunately, it's exhausting doing it the way I do it because it's like I post on each separate one separately, and again, like I'm like you, I post more on TikTok than I do on Instagram Reels because I'll have one on TikTok get 50,000 views and Instagram Reels 100. Like
Yeah.
it's the dumbest thing, and I don't get it. I try to understand it, but I just can't. I just can't.
So I love Todd Collins. I don't want you to think I don't love him. Like totally love Todd
No.
Collins.
Yep.
From the same city now. I would auto post to Reels because I'm not as invested there. If it messes up, if it doesn't, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Who cares, right?
But not on YouTube. I'm not going to mess up my reputation on YouTube because I just didn't take the time.
Right.
But it like Reels, I can't get it to hook to Reels. That's the thing. I'm having some trouble. So repurpose.io is amazing. There's some like little things that make it difficult, but in the end, it's saving a lot of time. So I would
Yeah.
I would post automatically to Reels for me.
Well, that's awesome. That repurpose IO, you're creating a lot of work for me.
It'll be less work. Because the cool thing is that when you pop it up, you can see all your videos and it goes page to page. You don't have to scroll. You can just go to look for the date, go back 50 pages and go, oh, yeah, that one was a great one, but I didn't have any following back then. Let me post it to YouTube and it could do great.
Right. So you can, so I'll have to look at it. I'll research that
Okay.
one and I'll try and figure that one out.
So I
So,
scheduled like four YouTube shorts to post this week in like 5 minutes last night. I mean, I can't beat that really.
oh, that's awesome.
That's the last thing I'll say about it.
No, I mean, that's when I look into it, hopefully I'll get a system in place because I tell you, man, doing the videos and doing all that stuff is it's a lot of work, you know. I'm sure you know.
And you
One of
did
the
all
things
that
that I've
work.
yeah,
Might
one of
as
the things that
well.
I've learned is with a video editor. And when you get really high quality videos, I do some video walkthroughs and stuff. It is a lot of work to edit these videos, and it takes a lot of time. And
Yeah.
you know, I've learned to edit on my phone. I haven't learned to edit on my computer yet. I don't know if I want to, just because I don't think that's a good use of my 3 hours or 6 hours doing a 2 minute video, right? But I
Yeah.
have learned that like if I have a video walkthrough and there's B-roll and there's music and there's, you know, my words and matching things up and coloring and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it sometimes takes 5 days to get a video of a house. And, you know, previously they're sold, right? So I'm trying, I'm like, I'm still going to put it out there on YouTube and I started doing my videos, not like, hey, if you want this house, it's like, hey, here's this house because it's highly likely it'll be sold by the time this video hits.
Yeah.
So when I'm on, I go to the I'm part of the Tom Ferry coaching system. I've got a coach, had her for a long time. I went to the elite retreat for the first time last year, and it was like absolutely deflating because people would get up on stage and talk about. Someone went up there. I don't know if it's a Canadian agent, but they went up. They was talking on a stage, made $10 million off of YouTube clients alone. Do you think it's possible to get that many buyers in your local area off of that one platform?
Close production or they profited $10 million
Closed production,
of 10 million. Yeah.
earned commission. So,
For one
man,
person, they're getting help. They're not closing all those deals by themselves.
yeah, they're probably giving deals to agents and team, and it could be a
Yeah.
team effort. But so the YouTube thing, that's why I've been trying so hard to break into it because I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. That's kind of my mentality. If they can do it, I can
Yeah.
do it. So
Yeah.
trying to figure out how I can hit that local person and get those local leads off YouTube has been my biggest struggle. And what I'm hearing you saying is it's possible, and maybe you do that.
Yeah. You'll find the answers just by searching what people want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely get on that. But so today's conversation was mainly about YouTube, and we learned a lot from you about the YouTube, about how it operates and how you can actually get better at it. And like everything else, it takes work, right?
Right. Right. Can I point out something
Well, I
really
will
good
definitely.
that you do on TikTok before we roll out that I noticed?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe in connection and evidence of success. And when you take people on your journey of closing houses, you know, you want to sell 100 houses. I know that because you've said it on
Yep.
TikTok. The only way I know that.
Yep.
Someone in Maryland
Yep.
knows your goal for the year. But you not only show them the evidence of success of this is the house I closed, this is the house I closed, but you're also telling the story and this is how much I care. Like you don't say this is how much I care, but it's evident by what you're doing. So you're like the perfect formula of evidence of success and connection. So
Well, thank you. That the amount of I did a TikTok the other day, and it went, and I had so many people telling me, they're like commenting, real estate agents, they're so greedy, all they're out for money, and you know how it is. I'm sure you know how it is, because
yeah,
people who are angry at the world have to tell everybody how bad everybody else is, and it like,
yeah,
unfortunately, no matter who you are as a human, it absolutely kills because every deal that I do, I care about my people more than myself. And I know that sounds cliche, but when you sell 50 to 100 homes, you start to realize it's not about the commission. It's about winning. It's about helping your clients. It's about selling a home to somebody that enjoys that spot and that will love that home and giving them an experience where they'll call you back and the money will come. The money will be there. So I don't worry
yeah.
about that, even though everybody says we're greedy. And it's like, that is the most gut wrenching comment that I hear from people. Even though I know you got to brush it off, I'm human, right? It still boils the blood.
My
But I
question is, who
appreciate
are they
that
hanging
comment
out
because
with?
it's true.
Who are they hanging out with
Yeah.
if they feel like all agents are greedy? Well, you got some shitty friends. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah. You've met some pretty crappy people.
yeah. So for
Yeah.
your audience, like, how do you show that in content, whether you're doing video or post or whatever? How do you share that experience to let people know you truly care without saying, I really care and I'm good,
Yeah.
right? You're showing them.
Well, good. So I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I really appreciate you jumping on here with me. Make sure I'm going to put all your YouTube links and I might even add LinkedIn to yours because what was that on you? That was a 5, maybe a 10.
Yeah.
But anybody who's watched this, make sure they follow her. Superstar. If you're a real estate agent watching this, absolutely go to her YouTube page because there's so much good information there and spend some time on it. That's the one thing that I have been doing a lot of lately because we just have more time miraculously right now. Spending
Right.
some time watching videos, watching it, learning information, following the stats. And as you listen to this stuff and as you listen to the mother hustler, the real mother hustler, you will get content yourself, right? Like
Yep.
you pick up on stuff and then all of a sudden you can deliver it. So go to her page. It's amazing. I appreciate your time and hopefully we can do this again after you show me how to use YouTube and I become a huge success on YouTube.
I would love to. Thanks, Tim.
Hey, one last question. How does it feel being a YouTuber?
It's funny. It's just funny.
My kids will say that people are YouTubers and it just cracks me up. I'm like, it's a regular person,
My
That's funny.
11-year-old texted me the other day and she goes, what the with the screenshot of my video, my channel, and she goes, how in the world did you get 8,000 subscribers? And I was like, superstar.
How in the world did you just figure this out?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Awesome. Well, you have a good
Cool.
day and I hope to have you back soon and good luck the rest of the year.
Thanks. You too.
That wraps up today's episode with Alisia Krastel in Baltimore, Maryland. She's a YouTube and TikTok expert. Make sure you follow her on social and come back next week. We'll have another great one.